Greetings and welcome to Tell It to Someone, the only show where millions are devastated through plague. And the first question is from Riston Raccoon. Please explain why in Australia the toilet is in the bathroom, but in Australia the toilet is in its own room. And if there is a reason to have them separate in houses, why are the toilets in the bathroom for public restrooms in Australia? Well, yeah, so you're supposed to rest in there, and, you know, in Australia, you're supposed to rest in those rooms, and they, you know, where sometimes if you get a little bit too rested, you know, things like sort of flow out of the other end. So therefore they put special facilities in there. Rebibble123 asks, are you the 12th Doctor, and would you take me as your companion? Well, that depends. I'd need somebody who was helpfully dim. You know, somebody who could help me with my, you know, whatever I had to do, but then still need rescuing, except for the times when you rescue me or everybody else, or come up with the solution which me as the Doctor, being a 903-year-old Time Lord, and, you know, brighter than anybody else in the universe, could not quite comprehend, because you're human and have a better grasp of such things. Scarlet Pookie asks, what happens if you let navel fluff build up? Well, you know, it has a lot to do with the navy. I mean, that's why it's often blue, because, you know, it comes from navy blue and stuff like that. So if you let the navel fluff build up like that, what happens is the navy will blow in and arrest you for loitering. The next question is from U. James 1978. Is there such a thing as I can't believe it's not peanut butter? And are there any situations in which a large plate of biscuits might save your life? Well, it's interesting. You see, for some people, they're allergic to peanuts, and for them, peanut butter is known as instant death. This is where I can't believe it's not peanut butter comes in. It's made from, you know, soy and assorted dairy byproducts, and therefore contains no peanuts, but tastes almost exactly unlike peanut butter. But it looks very like peanut butter if it was slightly bleached. Anyway, what you can do is you can save somebody's life by making a fluffernutter out of marshmallow fluff. It's an American product. It's a spread made from this marshmallow stuff, and this stuff called, I can't believe it's not peanut butter. Now, if somebody is allergic to marshmallow, what you can do is you can substitute the marshmallow fluff for navel fluff, and then you'll get a delicious fluffernutter which is completely inedible, unless you like navel fluff. Anyway, the next question is from California Sun. Did you find the end of the 1968 film Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, starring Dick Van Dyke as Claudius Potts and Sally Ann Howes as Truly Scrumptious, a bit unrealistic? I mean, we've established in the beach scene, a bit of a letdown in my opinion, that the whole story was nothing but a fantasy, and then for the delightful couple to simply fly off together in the magical car as the credits roll, well, now I just don't know what to believe. What became of the children? Okay, you see, it was written by Ian Fleming and produced by Kirby Broccoli. They're both better known as the writer and producer of James Bond. Now, not a lot of people know this, But back in 1968, when the film was made, it was not actually destined to be a children's film. It was supposed to be a James Bond film. It was originally called Death Only Knocks Twice for the Reaper. Death Only Knocks Twice for the Reaper. Anyway, what it was about was Chitty Chitty Bang Bang was actually the girl. There were two girls, of course. There was what was her name again? Truly Scrumptious, and she was the good girl. She was another secret agent from an American secret agent, I think, came across the Atlantic in order to get the what was it? The Toot Sweets. Now those Toot Sweets were not originally a lollipop that played tunes. Well, they were supposed to look like a lollipop that played tunes, but they were actually a mind-controlled device that looked like a musical lollipop. Anyway, the CIA agent, Truly Scrumptious, went over to Britain to get the Toot Sweets for the CIA. Anyway, Q supplied him with a flying car, a flying Aston Martin DBR 7, I think it was. Anyway, and they were going to go, and then James Bond's children, because he'd just been, his wife had been dipped in gold and suffocated in a previous one in the series. Anyway, what happened was he had children in this time. There was a couple of years between it. Anyway, they had children, and the children, were sort of in the, it was hard to say what the role of the children were. They just sort of got in the way of the plotline. Anyway, what happened was the children, I think they got abducted, if I can remember correctly. And when the children got abducted, he had to go up in the airship, and then he got captured for a while there, and he fought his way out of the airship, and he rappelled off the airship on one of the guy wires while the airship was exploding with Truly Scrumptious and both of the kids. And anyway, they ended up somehow in a vast cavern under a castle which was built on top of a volcano, a live volcano, of course. Anyway, the evil toy maker, who was played by Benny Hill, he had started up a devious plot to put lead in all the toys in the world, and he would only say which toys if he was given like $28 billion or something. Anyway, James Bond ended up destroying the old lair, and they ended up getting into their flying car and having sex in the flying car. And the kids were in the front seat and they were in the back seat, and the kids just pretended not to notice. Now, the problem was that this didn't go well a lot for the preview audience. Most of them had been interested in Dick Van Dyke's work from his earlier films. I believe it was something called Mary Poppins, I think it was. Anyway, and his portrayal of James Bond was just too gritty and realistic for that time, especially the scenes where he broke those guys' necks, and the scenes where he decapitated some guy, and that scene where he was tied to a chair, and you see the chair had had a hole in it, like the Pope sits in, and you know so they can check underneath it. And what happened was, and yeah, that was just too violent for the kids. In fact, it was too violent for the 1960s. But parts of that scene were reshot for the Daniel Craig James Bond, you know, back in this century. So all that writing and storyboarding didn't exactly go to waste. Anyway, what they did was they after they preview screened it for all the kiddies, they decided to turn it into from a James Bond film into a children's musical based in 1905, and they only had to reshoot like 68% of it. You know, you might see in some of the far shot, the wide angle shots, some of those scenes of the car. You can actually see it was a Aston Martin DBR 8 or 7 or something in the background, and they've just painted over it in crayon. And that is it for Tell It to Someone for this week. If you would like to ask a question for Tell It to Someone, then write it down there, and then we'll answer it or something. Oh, it's been a long one. You better just answer this dovetail question, and I'll go away. I'm dangerously talented, and I don't have a cool sign-off.